Get it?
Got it. Thank you. Okay. So anyways, if some of you, and I know there are a good amount of people that don't always order the Life book and the Habits of Health book, because we do have a lot of the resources that are available digitally, which is fantastic. I mean, a lot of people would rather listen to it in the car, as they're walking, whatever. But I would definitely recommend taking advantage of listening to the Elements on our YouTube station that Optavia has. Element 17 is kind of what questions that came up last week when they were asking about exercise and what to add and what not to add. Well, I'm not going to break down things that you should add when you're exercising, because you really need to lean in your coach for that advice. But we are going to talk about how to become a perpetual motion machine. So movement and how movement is beneficial and what we need to do with the movement. So element 17 in your Life book. Also, like I said, you can get on the YouTube station to hear it. And eventually you might want to get your own Life book, because it really is a great book that you can journal, put your own thoughts in. It's rewriting your own story, your health journey, because this is a health journey. This is not a diet. This is at the end of the section, but we wanted to put it at the beginning. The benefits of taking it slow. So some people, whenever they first get started on program, think they have to go to the gym and kill themselves right at the beginning. Do not do that. It is a well-known medical fact that an unfit, sedentary lifestyle causes cardiovascular disease. Combined with that, too much excess weight and jumping too quickly into exercise can be a recipe for disaster. Although the risk is low, sudden death and heart attack are more likely to take place during exercise. That's why it's so important to ramp up slowly using the NEAT system. We're going to talk about that. And to continue monitoring your heart rate. By the time you progress to an active exercising of EAT, again, we're going to talk about that, your heart will be stronger than ever. Do, of course, consult with your healthcare provider as you increase your activity level. So don't just jump into everything at once. It's not good for your system. Most Americans are getting less than 150 minutes of movement per week to prevent a steady regression to poor health. A recent study in juststand.org showed that 86% of all Americans sit all day. I mean, a lot of times that has to do with your job. I understand that. Or you're in the car a lot, so sitting. Daily sitting ranges from 9.3 hours to as high as 15 hours in some individuals. Wow. I mean, for me, you know, being a teacher for so many years, and many of us on here have been teachers, we never sit. You know, when you're teaching, you're moving all the time, except on those days that you had to grade papers all day, midterms, things like that. Those days I was so sore from sitting all day. He would get 14,000 steps in a day because Matt would teach and walk all day long. And I'm like, where are you getting all those steps? But anyways, we need to start moving every day. I cannot see the top of that. Oh, sorry. Do you have the sitting disease? Yes, sorry, I couldn't see my screen. At this point, it would be really helpful for you to track the total time you are sitting during your waking hours. Make a list of all the things that you do typically in a day and estimate how long you are sedentary. Keep a running total of all the times you are sitting during the day. JustStand.org has a sitting time calendar that you can use to estimate your total sit time. I put the link on there. It's a tool that's going to give you so you can actually see how long you are sitting every day. Habits of motion. Start with baby steps based on your current reality and crawl our way back to energy, equilibrium, fitness, and optimal health. Two major objectives. Number one, stabilizing your weight by increasing your energy expenditure primarily through physical activity. And number 2, optimizing your health through carefully paced exercise. So we're going to talk about these. And being on the 5 and 1, we're not jumping into exercise, but movement is good. I don't care where you're at in your health journey, movement is good. What's the difference between physical activity and exercise? Well, physical activity happens anytime your body is in motion. That motion can be voluntary or involuntary. So taking a walk, standing up, physical activity. Exercise, on the other hand, is planned movement that's more vigorous and leads to improvements of overall fitness. Going to the gym, lifting weights, doing a class, aerobics, that's exercise. Activity and exercise have different roles in our system. Introducing them correctly and in the right sequence is critical to maintaining your motivation and ability above the activation threshold. This will make your new energy plan a permanent habit of health. So we want movement. So movement is good. You don't have to ask your coach, can I take a walk? Can I take the stairs at work instead of the elevator? You know, things like that. That's great movement. But being on the 5 and 1, don't kill yourself at the gym. Not yet. Later on, as you're getting closer to your goal and you're starting to add more exercise in, that is awesome. But again, I would walk right alongside with your coach to find out what changes need to be made when you're doing that. What's the difference between physical activity and exercise? We talked a little bit about that, but one big difference between exercise and physical activity is that exercise is generally done for a short period of time, usually just a few hours a week. So not all day long. Physical activity, on the other hand, can be integrated into your daily life in a much more organic and complete manner. The main objective is to put your waking hours to work by tapping into the 1,000 different ways your body is active. You will then start increasing your daily activity to serve your body's need for motion. So that's what we need to focus on right now, is start moving some. Physical activity. What is your current level of physical activity? Determining your total energy expenditure, your TEE. So I put on here a website for a calculator because yes, the book is going to give you the math way to figure that out. Not everybody on here loves math. I know 2 of them for sure. Type in how many hours a week, she's hiding. Type in how many hours a week you exercise currently and what do you do. So that's your looking at what you're doing on a daily basis and figuring out your total energy. So it's really looking at your calories you need. This is for that transition and maintenance stage. When you're on the 5 and 1, you do not have to calculate anything. Your macros are counted for you. Everything your body needs to be put into a mild fat burn and help you get to your goal is already done for you. Our program is designed for that. It's amazing. So you don't have to do the math. It's done for you. But as you're progressing and getting to your goals, we want to be able to sustain all the health benefits and the goals that we are getting to. And so this is one of those calculators that will definitely help you figure out what you need as you're getting there. Again, your coach will assist you with that as you're getting to that point. Physical activity level, the PAL, is made up of 2 parts. Number 1, planned physical activity, exercise. You're planning it in your day. 2, voluntary and unconscious movements you make a part of your daily life. One handy way to break down this is the acronyms. Yeah, acronyms. I don't know. I can say that word. EAT and NEAT. Those are the 2 things I said we were going to talk about. EAT is exercise, activity, thermogenesis, planned physical activities, going to the gym, doing a class, those type of things. The NEAT is what you should be doing now, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Each contribution to daily calorie consumption pales in comparison to the NEAT. That's amazing. I did not know that until I started really digging into my life book, that yeah, you're going to burn all these calories doing that planned physical activity, but what we can do for our body by the NEAT, the non-exercise activities, is so much larger. Look at this. That little green is that going to the gym or doing a class or whatever, that, you know, playing basketball, something that planned exercise. But the movement, that's the rest of your day. That is the NEAT part. You know, all the other things that we're going to talk about, that really is what we should be incorporating right now on our health journeys. And some of us I know are further along, and you may be in the transition or the maintenance stage, and you're really focusing more in the green area, which is still just the green area. But that red area, no matter where you're at in your health journey, that needs to be filled up. The NEAT system: by making small daily choices, you can win the race of weight management. Gradually add motion to every aspect of your day. Helpful to people who are not used to exercise. This is excellent for those BMI is over 30 or you have a medical condition. You can do right now and continue doing into your 90s and beyond. Age doesn't matter when it comes to be able to do this part of the program, the NEAT system. There's no intense exertion involved. It's important that you feel comfortable creating a more mobile and fitter world for yourself. And now that you've lost some weight and are feeling better, you're ready to go. So you're in a good fat burn. You have that energy. What are you going to do with it? Well, this is a great thing to learn, to be able to do these little things. You're going to see that you're even going to produce more energy. You're going to feel better, and your movement is getting better each day. You and NEAT. How many of the following things do you do at work? Walking or biking to work. Gas prices going up. Some of us may be doing more of that. Parking far away from the entrance to work. That's something I started doing whenever I was on the 5-in-1. Instead of parking as close as I could to the door, I parked on the other side of the parking lot. So I at least got that walk going into school, going out to school. So parking further away. And I do that anytime I go shopping now. You can ask Matt. We go to Sam's Club. I park in the very far back corner. And it is, you know, I don't know what that was. Unless it was, no, okay. Just making sure. I have a grandbaby on the way. And I thought, well, maybe they're telling me it's time. But anyways, parking as far away from work, the doors as you can. Getting up several times an hour during each hour you are sitting. So don't sit all day long. I mean, if you're on the 5-in-1 and really getting that water in, you're getting up anyways to go to the bathroom. So getting up multiple times in an hour, using the stairs rather than the escalator or the elevator. I'm not saying if you're on the 30th floor to take all flights of stairs, but maybe a couple of the flights. Using the restroom at the other end of the building instead of the one right next to your room or right next to your office. Walking when in phone meetings. A lot of us are doing things at home now. I know you can't do a Zoom and walk around with your laptop, but if you're doing calls, instead of sitting at your desk, walk around and do those calls.
I do. Now, this is something I do quite a bit, and sometimes
I tell him quit pacing.
Quit pacing. I am a pacer, and that's why when I taught, I got a lot of steps in because I can't sit down. I talk and walk at the same time, and that's something that's very easy to do, and you can get a lot of steps in the day while on the phone or while teaching or something.
Mm-hmm. Another thing is having a tall core when sitting, standing, or walking posture. So standing up straight, sitting straight. What else are you doing to resist gravity at work? Start being mindful of that. Are we slouching like this? You know, things like that. What are you doing that is helping you? What else are you doing to move more on the go? Huh? Oh, at home, making your bed. That's a movement. Manually brush your teeth instead of the electric toothbrush, which I guess you get the vibration manually doing it. Use a shaker jar. Manually wash the dishes. I have the dishwasher going in the background and I'm telling you to manually wash your dishes, but you know what I mean. Use a manual can opener. Use a hand rake for leaves instead of the leaf blower. Walk the dog. Have an after dinner leisure walk. Things like that. Those are movements and you don't even think about it. Those are just things we do on a daily basis. What else are you doing to resist gravity on the go? What else are you doing to get more movement? The 6 S's of success. The NEAT system helps you take control of your body's energy balance by harnessing the movements you make in the course of your daily activities. The 6 NEAT categories: stance, standing, strolling, stairs, samba, switch. Online at thehabitsofhealth.com, you can learn how to calculate the actual calories you expend. It will give you target goals, how much movement and things like that to get in the NEAT system. Habits of Health is an awesome resource. If you're not using it, you should. What is stance? Sitting is one of the best times to work on your posture and your core, those ab muscles. Start by using a proper chair that helps you sit up straight. Then flex your stomach muscles and take deep, slow breaths. This is micro habit, one of our micro habits. And add 2 additional minutes focusing on the core position. So actually think about sitting up straight, sucking in your stomach, taking some slow breaths. The target would be to do this for 30 minutes of focus on your core position every day. So if you're doing it 2 minutes at a time, every hour that you're sitting there, that's going to help you get to that goal. An additional target is to use a balance ball chair all day at work. I would be on the floor, but some of you may be doing very well with that balance ball. Standing. In merely moving from sitting to standing, you can substantially increase your energy consumption. When you stand, you begin to use weight-bearing NEAT. And one of the great advantages of weight-bearing NEAT is the heavier you are, the more calories you're expending. That's great news. It means that if you're overweight, you can start off slowly and still receive the benefits of increased movement just from sitting to standing. Add 10 additional minutes of standing per day. That's 2 hours of standing per day. Add it. And then target goal is to get to 2 hours of standing per day. So start out with just those 10 extra minutes. So now we're talking about the walking, the strolling, the walking. When you're talking about walking in terms of NEAT, we are referring to anything outside of a formal walking program. So don't get on a walking program. You don't need to do that yet. You can, but you don't need to. That includes going to walk to the water cooler, delivering a memo to your boss, shopping for a new dress at the mall. Remember, the point of NEAT is that it takes place during your normal routine. It's not having to add anything outside of what you're not normally doing it. We're just going to do it more manually, start moving while doing it. Micro habit, add 100 additional steps per week. That's starting out slow, right? The target is to get at least 10,000 steps a day. A mile is about 2,000 steps. So I know some of us, walk quite a bit. 10,000 steps may be a real challenge for you right now. That's the reason we're not saying that that's something start doing today. Small step, do 100 additional steps a week and you'll work your way up to that. Stairs. Stairs are a great way to accelerate the NEAT. In fact, climbing just one flight of stairs is equivalent to walking 100 steps. So right there's that 100 steps additional a day. That means that climbing 10 flights of stairs gives you the same benefit as walking for half a mile. Wow. The micro habit would be to add one additional flight of stairs per week. Your target goal should be 10 flights of stairs per day, but we're going to start out with one flight a week, trying to get one flight of stairs in per week. Samba. Who likes to dance? Put on some music. Here we are looking at the movement generated by your body's natural rhythm. What do we mean by that? Put on a song you like and watch what happens. You might start tapping your pencil or your foot or even singing as loud as you can, Lauren. The micro habit, add 10 additional minutes of music per day. Work up to an hour or more of dance per week. Your target goal is 90 minutes of music per day, 1 hour of dance per week. Who likes to have music in the background all the time? We have music in the background most of the time. Switch. To switch means doing things by hand instead of a machine. This includes dishwashers, electric knives, snow blowers for some of you. The remote control is in here, and I told Matt, I said, okay, we need to take that out because none of the TVs have buttons anymore. You have to have that remote control. Your goal is to burn an extra 30 calories per day doing tasks by hand instead of using machines. Micro habit, add 1 or 2 substituted manual tasks per day. The target goal is 10 substituted manual tasks per day. So doing things by hand, that's also going to get you standing, walking, moving. So doing things manually. Here is a chart about the 6 X's, and you can actually see where you're starting to make those changes by those 6 S's. And this chart is also in habitsofhealth.com. It's a great resource. How often should I do the NEAT activity? Anytime you think about it. Just say no machines. Get up and move every 20 minutes. Set a timer on your phone as a reminder to be NEAT. Use the blank Habits of Health clock to fill it up with things that you do. This you can also find on the habitsofhealth.com. But this is a great way, just especially at the beginning, to see that, yes, I am getting movement every hour. These are some of the things that I'm doing. This type of movement is fantastic no matter where you are in your health journey, from the beginning to the end, all the way. And there is no end until it's the end. Moving forward from NEAT to EAT. By the end of the 2nd month of the NEAT system, you will be burning 200 more calories a day than you are right now. So if you start right now, in 2 months, you'll be burning 200 more calories every day. That increase in energy expenditure means you will be able to offset the natural decrease that occurs when you lose the weight, which is the key to healthy weight maintenance. You will have increased your flexibility, mobility, and total daily motion to make your entire body stronger. So these little habits that we are creating are going to help with the long-term goal. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we didn't go into what it would look like to add the heavy exercise, the EAT part of it. We are only talking about the NEAT. For most of us on this slide, on this Zoom, we're on the 5 and 1. So we don't need to think about at this time doing what's the next step. Let's start with the first step of adding that additional motion and movement into our daily lives right now. And like I said, many of you are at different stages of your health journey. And if you have questions about what you're doing on a daily basis and where you want to go next, that's where you really need to lean into your coach and get the guidance there so they can help you where you're not overdoing it too quickly. Because if you're overdoing it too quickly, you could throw yourself out of fat burn because of using too much of that energy starting out.
The great thing about the NEAT system here is that, first of all, you're going to burn more calories during the NEAT system, as it showed there in the graph that we had up there. Okay, you're going to burn more there, but also, as it talks about in the 2-month period, as you're doing this, you're getting your body ready for the EAT system. Okay, you're getting yourself stronger, you're getting more mobile, it'd be easier to stay out of injuries. The problem with a lot of people who want to jump from, hey, I'm 2 weeks into program or 3 weeks in the program, I think I can go to the gym, is they go into the gym and their body's really not ready for it. They're just not strong enough for it, and they go in, they hurt themselves, they injure themselves, and then a couple of days into that, well, I'm hurting, I can't go back to the gym. Well, that's what we want to stay out of. What we want you to do is to get to a position where you're healthy enough, you're strong enough that when you get to the gym, you're not going to injure yourself and then say, well, I'm just not going to be in the gym anymore. No, the gym's great for you, but you've got to be ready for it. And if you've not been into it and you haven't been doing it for a while, it's not a good idea just to jump in and think, hey, I can grab this, barbell and I can lift this. You're going to injure yourself. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to throw yourself out of what you really want to be doing. So using the NEAT system and just slowly increasing to where you feel more flexible and stronger, you're going to stay out of injury, and you're going to be ready to actually attack the gym like you want to.
That's right.
One thing I wanted to interject too was, interestingly, if you think about it, the switch where we're using manual things. I mean, really, if you think about that, think back to the days before we had all the modern amenities and technologies and all of that, right? That is why back in the day, people weren't obese like they are now. They did a lot more manual work. They walked a lot more. Think of farmers, right? They burned so many more calories because they didn't have all the modern, and I'm not against modern amenities. I'm not saying that, but I think that's where we've seen a big switch, is because now we have so many conveniences. It's like, Alexa, add this to the grocery list. I don't even have to get up, Alexa, turn this song on. We hardly have
Alexa,
to move.
stop.
Oh, did I turn your Alexa on?
Everybody's Alexa just went off.
That's funny. But it's just that we have to we have to think about that stuff. So we have to have more intentionality about it, because it's very convenient for us not to.
Exactly.
So true.
Does anyone have any questions? Have you started using the NEAT system? Have you seen a difference because you're on program, your energy is up, that even without thinking about it being in the NEAT system, that you're actually doing these things because of how you're feeling?
Suzette, I didn't understand how you can exercise yourself out of fat burn.
Because you're burning more calories and your body is going through all of what the nutrition value that you have, that you're starving yourself. So you're going from the extreme of fat burn into the starvation mode. So if you are really doing more than what we have talked about here, taking a walk, a bike ride, swimming, if you're really doing the planned physical activity that you're burning 500-600 calories, your program needs to be adjusted for that, so you don't go into starvation mode, because starvation mode is where your body is going to hold on to everything because it thinks it's not going to get what it needs. So it's not going to release anything.
But if you were to adjust to a permanent negative calorie intake, to where you're burning more calories every day than you were taking in, I understand you go into starvation mode, but wouldn't you eventually get out of that starvation mode, or am I looking at that wrong?
You mean if you continue doing that and continue eating?
Yeah, if for the next year I were burning a negative 1,000 calories a day or something.
Well, okay, so you're burning okay. Well, we're trying to not just get ourselves into where we're burning calories and considering this as, that diet format. We want to be able to sustain it. So yes, there's people that go on the calorie deficit diets and definitely lose weight. But the problem with that is, number one, your body's not getting the nutrients it needs, but also it's not sustainable. And that's where we want to make sure that, yes, you're getting to your goal, but it's sustainable. So I want to make sure that as we don't want you to just have that negative calories. We want to make sure that your body is getting fed properly so that as we're adding food and nutrients into your diet, once we get into that maintenance, that your body doesn't go into shock and say, oh my goodness, he's finally feeding me, and it holds on to everything. We want it to know how to burn it and use it for energy.
And where are you losing the weight also is very important. You ever see somebody that has lost a lot of weight, but they've got the real skinny arms and real skinny legs? It looked like a marshmallow with toothpicks stuck in it. Okay.
I think it's a little bit though, because I do swimming, and that's not a
that's
weight loss method. So, but it does make you have skinny arms. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of it is,
that's great movement too, though.
yeah, it is great movement. But where do you want to lose the fat? Where you're going to burn fat. And for men, mostly I don't know, most men I know have the midsection. Okay. They have the big belly, right? And they'll go on these starvation diets and they'll lose weight, but they don't lose the midsection. They lose arms, they lose legs. And pretty soon, like I said, you look like a marshmallow with toothpicks stuck in them. Okay. And so that's what we want to stay out of. We want you to burn the fat where you want to burn the fat. Okay.
I want to burn it where the skin is. I want the skin to go away.
Okay.
Well, you're
That's
doing
good.
awesome,
You get it.
though.
You get it.
Definitely don't overexert yourself with outside movement, but that swimming is great movement. It's good for all your joints. So
Yeah, it does make you feel better.
yes. We don't have a pool right now. No swimming for us.
Mhm.
Anyone else?